96.7 KCAL rocks. I always look forward to a Thursday because it's time to talk some sports with our guy, Pep. Good morning, Pep.
Good morning, guys. Listen, I think there's two kinds of NFL teams. Either you have an NFL team that is in the playoffs and thinking, hey, we're going to win a Super Bowl, or you have an NFL team thinking, maybe we need a new head coach. Maybe you have fired your head coach. I think those are the only two types of teams right now in the NFL, and the Chargers are a team that is looking for a new head coach after they got rid of Anthony Lynn. So we got the Chargers looking for a head coach, and we got the Rams that are in the playoffs. Two separate teams on opposite sides of the fence right now.
40 could not believe when the two words of Jason Garrett were getting floated around for San Diego. You should have seen 40's face.
Man, I would love to keep him in the NFC East as long as I possibly could. But I was shocked. Anthony Lynn, I think, kind of lost his team when he counted them out of the playoffs before they were actually eliminated. But I thought he was a good coach, kind of getting that team turned around. I thought maybe he would at least have one more season. But nope, the Chargers canned him.
I really liked him, but Pep, could you see Jason Garrett? Is that what you're hearing, Pep?
Man, you know what? Like, if you're the Chargers, it sounds like, if you talk to all these NFL experts, it sounds like they need to make a big splash. And Jason Garrett, I don't think is that big splash. When I think big splash, I'm thinking like a huge name, like an Urban Meyer, his name's been kicked around a lot of times in the last couple of years for a lot of different teams. But like Jason Garrett, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he's the guy. As an Eagles fan, 40, I know you want him in the NFC East. Maybe he'll end up with the Washington football team next. Like, who knows?
If you're a Raider, Bronco, or who's the other team in that division, you want Jason Garrett to go to the Chargers for sure.
The Chiefs, right?
Yeah. As an Eagle fan, when he was at the Cowboys, I loved him with the Cowboys.
I can see only Jason Garrett because of the quarterback thing. Obviously, Air Bear is a big deal here. They want someone who can handle this young kid because he appears to be pretty freaking talented. So, I would think that a quarterback dude is coming in, and I don't know if Urban Meyer is that.
Right.
Patrick, you nailed it. When they're looking for a head coach, obviously Justin Herbert is the quarterback of the future. They hit gold. Like in the NFL draft last year, they struck gold getting Justin Herbert from the University of Oregon. Now, how do you not spoil his best years coming up? We look at Patrick Mahomes. What did he sit like 1 year? Was it 1 or 2 years behind Alex Smith in Kansas City, and then he just blew up? Herbert's here now. He's ready to go right now.
And this is good because he's on the cheap. This is how you do it. This is how you make your run. You need to build around this young kid before you have to pay him $1 zillion.
So, it'll be really interesting to see which way the Chargers go because, like you said, it seems like the best way to win a Super Bowl right now in the NFL is to land on a young quarterback and then spend on the rest of the team. Get a good coach, and that's you don't want to say it's automatic, but that kind of has been the winning formula for a lot of teams lately.
Yeah, look around. Lamar Jackson in Baltimore, Josh Allen in Buffalo. I think Tua Tagovailoa will pan out in Miami. Like if you look at these certain teams, or Patrick Mahomes, obviously, they've got those young quarterbacks on these rookie deals where they're not making a whole lot of money. And again, you're right. Then you can get all these great players to surround them and make a couple playoff runs with them. But the Chargers can't spoil that. They can't let this, unravel right in front of them with the wrong head coach.
We'll see what happens.
All right, so you got the Chargers, then you got the Rams, and Patrick, they play Seattle in the playoffs this weekend, and Sean McVay said, he won't know if Jared Goff and his surgically repaired thumb will be ready to go in that playoff game until about, he said, a minute before kickoff. He's not even ready to make a decision on his quarterback, unless he already has and hasn't said anything.
Do you think that's legit, or do you think that's just posturizing?
I think he's just being smart, not showing his hand, and doing every advantage he possibly can to throw some confusion at us. I heard that he's been throwing all week long. Props to him. His thumb is super effed up from what I've heard. They need him. What I don't like, what did scare me, is when Aaron Donald was interviewed last week, and they said, you got to go to Seattle, and he's like, that's what we wanted. I was like, oh, God, I don't want to hear this.
Seattle not as scary of a place without the 12s,
yes,
without all the fans there, because that's the one thing about that place. And I've been there. I've sat in the front row. I can tell you it is deafening in that building.
And the last guy you want after your ass is Aaron Donald.
Absolutely.
And you know what? That's what it might come down to. It might come down to the Rams defense, which is really, really good this year, against Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf, and the Seattle offense. It might be that game of chess between defense versus offense in this playoff matchup.
Jalen Ramsey does really well against DK. They end up shaking hands at the end.
The nice thing for you, too, is that you get the Saturday afternoon. You don't have to wait too long for your playoff game. It's always fun when your team's in the playoffs, But as you're going into that weekend, if you have like the night Sunday game and you're the last playoff game, it's way too much anticipation, way too much lead up.
Pep, I got the whiskey. I got the 805 beers because this can be it, baby. I don't take it for granted at all. It could be you're done. You got to be just glad you're even in the dance in the first place.
Yes. I think there's certain teams like you're just happy to be in the playoffs, and there's certain teams that's like, dude, we got to be in the Super Bowl. I think Seattle, like honestly, I think Seattle's one of those teams that's like, man, we should at least be in the NFC Championship game. Like we need to get to that point. I think because they've done it so much.
The "We're happy to just be here" award will go to the Washington football team, the Bears.
Yes.
I mean, those are pretty much the "We're happy to be here" guys.
Ding, ding, ding.
And the Cleveland Browns too. Like, they ended that playoff drought. They're finally into the playoffs. And guys, they get to the playoffs for the first time in a long time, and their head coach comes down with COVID and surrounding staff members. So they won't even have all their coaches on the sidelines when they play their rival, the Steelers, again in the playoffs.
Maybe not the worst thing for the Browns.
No. Maybe not.
Maybe not. Maybe this works.
Maybe it'll work, although Mike Tomlin did say, yeah, I'm not too worried about it. They got somebody over there acting like the head coach.
Oh, Mike Tomlin cut a little promo on it. He loved it. He is ready for this.
Dude, Tomlin is the best, man. I love Mike Tomlin, and he's no nonsense, especially if it's a playoff game and especially if against the Cleveland Browns, which is obviously a division rival for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Guys, as we jump to college football, on Monday we're supposed to have the Ohio State and Alabama playing for the college national championship. There is some rumors, some chatter out there saying that game could be pushed back a week. They're saying maybe COVID issues with Ohio State, but others, if you like conspiracy theories, are saying Justin Fields is banged up, and it would give the Buckeyes an extra week of having Justin Fields heal up a little bit.
He is banged up. That hit he took was one hell of a hit, and that player did get nailed for targeting. A lot of people are upset about that, but I do think it was targeting only because he led with his head so badly and speared him right in the hip. I know it wasn't head contact, but I was under the assumption that you can't lead with your head. That is targeting.
Right. It kind of opens up a real big debate with the national championship of, okay, we have this thing scheduled for Monday.
Yes.
Yeah, we might have some COVID cases. We could push it back. COVID's always going to be an issue. Like, do you just kind of treat COVID as if it's an injury? And it's like, hey, if we have injuries, we don't wait for those guys to heal up. We just play the game.
Gosh, it's so different. I don't know. I guess they have to try to figure that out. Does anybody feel, I mean, does everyone think that?
Do you want to watch a national championship where the two squads aren't at full strength because of something like this?
No, maybe you do push it a week then because you want your stars in the game, right?
Yeah.
It's a tough one, right?
I want Justin Fields out there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you've got your stars on the field and it's going to be a competitive game, the TV ratings are going to be great. Everyone's going to make a bunch of TV money, blah, 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 blah. But if you look at it, look at the NFL real quick. Remember when, who was it that had, it was Denver Broncos. They had like no quarterbacks. And they're like, sorry, like it doesn't meet our guidelines in terms of postponing a game. Like you have to play the game. And I don't know what colleges looks like, but at least in the NFL, like that's not a good enough excuse. Like if you can play the game, if you have enough guys, you're going to play the game, even if you don't have your top players or your star players. We saw it happen to the Baltimore Ravens with no Lamar Jackson at quarterback.
That is true.
I mean, could Ohio State be crowned the national champions after only having like 6 wins?
COVID champs.
Dude. Yeah. It's
crazy.
Weird.
Yeah.
Hey guys, finally, we got college basketball going on, and I just want a quick shout out to our local teams. UC Riverside will take on Hawaii in their Big West Conference opener and home opener this weekend. So we got local college hoops, and CBU, they'll play on the road at Utah Valley. And guys, the head coach for Utah Valley, does the name Mark Madsen ring a bell to you guys?
Mad Dog?
Yes!
Wow.
The man with the moves?
The man with no dancing ability?
Yes, the former Laker who got down with, I think it was Shaq, right, on their championship stage when they won some NBA titles in the early 2000s. Yeah, he's coaching. He's the head coach at Utah Valley going up against our guys at CBU this weekend.
Oh, wow. Look at Pep. That's why we got our guy, Pep. Tell him how to get your stuff.
Inland Sports, everybody, check it out. If you love local sports and you love the Inland Empire, check it out. It's Inland Sports. We got the YouTube channel.
Thanks, Pep.